The Deathmark leader, Eknotath the Merciless, scanned the ruined city through a glowing green reticle. Ash and dust clung to everything. The city was long dead and coated in fine grey powder that covered the ancient buildings. Even the dominating statue of the man-marine was monotone, the once bright metal dulled, tarnished, buried. Ash and dust, the remnants of a desolated city, the remains of a desolated race. For 4 weeks, the warrior constructs of Legion's onslaught had crawled through the city, capturing, assassinating, and stalking the man-marines. Throughout this time, one group eluded them. One group alone dared to match their skill. Target #00183. Intercepted communications by Hominat the Mighty had revealed its name. The Crimson Mist. Eknotath had assessed the probability of successful termination following their present tactic. 78.6%. The calculation was wrong no matter how many runs it simulated. The Necrons' neural processors had been unable to integrate an anomaly unique to this battle zone. Hrok twice slain, target #00183 beta. This man-marine veteran was dead, cut down in a hail of Tesla fire, brutalized in combat with a flayed one, Thotep the Life-Taker. Thrown from a tower, collapsing under the weight of crackling arcane fire. Dead 6 times, but still he returned. It did not compute. Every time this man-marine had foiled their plans, slayed their warrior kin. But no more. Eknotath had laid a trap. A trail of breadcrumbs for the wolves to follow. The savaged corpses of their allies provided by the ever-resourceful Thotep. A stronghold fortified against assault. As Eknotath scanned the surrounding area through the humming disintegrator's scope, it found its eye drawn to the towering effigy. Eknotath had wondered if he would feel anything akin to joy at ridding himself of this thorn. A measly 2.18% chance of emotional stimuli. Inevitably, just like the lifeless monument that would bear witness to the coming battle, Eknotath would feel nothing as it executed the plan to liquidate target #00183 once and for all. Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and today we have part 2 in the campaign of the Steel Jaws between the Necrons and the Space Wolves, the Adeptus Astartes. Okay, let's see if I can do a little bit better about telling you the kill teams that are being involved in both of these games. So, up first we have my Necrons, and we have Eknotath, the Deathmark sniper guy. He's the leader. The sniper, the Deathmark, sorry, there that is that has the blue glow is my comms. The Immortal with the blue glow is I don't know what he is. And once again, the flayed one is a zealot, and then behind them we have 2 more Tesla Blaster Immortals and a warrior. I know what you're thinking, Glass, you didn't remember that well, but that was still better than last time. Please don't go back and check, just, it was, trust me. And on this side we have Olvir Red Moon with the sniper leader there. We have on the right Ortan Skullbreaker, the guy with the grenade, he's our demolitions expert. We have Torghard Deadgaze, who's the heavy, same as the first match. And finally we have Hrok Twice Slain, the veteran. And yeah, let's say he definitely earns his name Twice Slain in this match. And behind that, I believe we have some guys with bolters. I can't see them in this picture, so who knows. Today we were playing the campaign mission, the narrative mission, sorry, where the attacker has to destroy all of the relics or the objective markers. And the way he does that is by, at the end of his turn, he can play a tactic that costs 1 CP, and that will destroy the objective. There are 6 objectives in total, and I think I can point most of them out on this. We see there's one here in the bottom right, right next to, that's right, he could just deploy next to them, which is crazy, but he did. So he's deployed next to one up here on the 3rd floor. There's another one just in the top left corner here, which is also on the 3rd floor of a building. We've got one down the bottom here. We've got one in the middle. We've got one just outside the small bastion that I'm defending. And there's a final one right under this bridge next to these little pipes here that we will see in a moment. As you can see, deployment-wise, he's got his leader right at the back here. I think that has a ridiculous 36-inch range or something, and yeah, so he doesn't need to ever move forward. He's got 2 scouts here. I believe they're both just standard scouters with bolters. He's got a standard marine here, who's obviously there to take that out, and he's got his heavy up here. You can't see most of my team. All you can really see are that I have 2 death marks on the top floor. Oh, but there's the rest of my team. So, as you can see, I've got my my zealot, my flayed one down here, ready to countercharge anyone that comes through here. I've got my warrior here, taking pot shots the whole game. And then I've got my 3 immortals. And here, we see this flayed one here. It's the same one as here, so it's just the other side of the street. He's got his demo and his veteran. So we played doors here that same as last time, you could just run straight through doors. They block line of sight, but they automatically open and close for you. And here we see the view that his leader has of the entire place. So we see my leader there, my comms there. He can't quite see these 2, but he can see the 2 Necrons here. Now, hopefully I've zoomed in for you so you can see it properly. But we see both of my immortals here were, let's say cleverly, I guess, placed so that they can shoot out of basically at anything that's outside, but they will be very hard to hit. Now, at the time of playing this, there was a small rule that I was not aware of, and neither was my friend, regarding the obscurement rule. So, obscurement works regarding the line of sight both from and to the model that's shooting. So, as you can see, my comms Necron here, you can only just see the tip of his barrel. Now, that's still a perfectly legitimate area for him to shoot from, and also for him to be shot at. That's fine. However, from the enemy's perspective, they are always only shooting at the tip of a barrel, and so, therefore, logically, the Necron Immortal counts as obscured. And we played it as the Necron Immortal because the target that he is shooting at is out in the open. He gets an unobscured shot. However, that's not actually correct, as you have to work out obscurement, as I said, both from and to the model that is shooting. And because he would count as obscured, basically, you can never have a clear shot against an obscured target if it wouldn't be the same the other way around. Anyway, it's a lovely looking picture, isn't it? Yes. All the barrels there, homemade. And here we see what his scouts can see as they're looking up at my little fortifications there. And also the lovely, whatever this is, the Marine Man statue guy. Lovely little statue, I've got to say. So here we finally get the first turn. Everybody's moved up. At least I assume it's the first turn. We've got these guys here. They've just moved. All of my Necrons have readied, apart from my Zealot, who obviously attempted to charge, but failed it, and so I left him where he was, so that when it came to the next turn, if he got the initiative, he wouldn't be able to charge me quite as easily. And here we see his scouts have run through a door. There's a door here, don't worry. And they are heading up to the top, the very top of this building, where there is a objective that they can try and blow up. That's just a nice top-down view of where these guys are. I believe at this point he's not within 2 inches of that, so he's not able to destroy it. But as we can see, okay, so this is the important bit now. I've managed to get some flesh wounds on him here. Specifically, this guy, this is who we're paying attention to for the whole game. Twiceborn, the guy that will not die. Now, we see that his Marine here has moved up. I believe he's actually, as we see here, charged and is in close combat with the Necron warrior through the wall, which is interesting. Well, through the window, yeah. This Necron Immortal has gone up here from the second floor up to the third. He's attempting to deal with the scouts, get some shots off on them. As we can see here, the scouts are heading very quickly towards this objective. Everybody else readied, I think. Ah, yes, there we go. There is his scout. Now, if this scout, he's clearly within range, if the scout isn't killed by the end of this turn, this round, assuming he has the command points left to do it, he can take out that objective. This is just a nice little showing of what's gone on here. And as you can see, like I was talking about earlier, the Necron Immortal is just sticking the barrel of his gun out. So anybody he shoots, he's getting clear shots on. Because we played the rule wrong, he should be getting obscured shots at everyone. But don't worry, everybody was able to shoot him as well. We weren't that crazy. And this is the top-down view of, I guess, the next turn. We see his leader has actually deigned to move up. An interesting choice for a sniper, but obviously he wanted the rest of his guys to be in combat doing things. In this game, he actually found the sniper really very underperforming. It didn't do what he wanted at all. He wanted it to be much tougher, but there you go. There you go. The single shot is what really brought it down for him. And every time, obviously, these guys here are obscured, so it's not great. Now, I think possibly... Oh no, so my leader's moved down. Yes, he was actually at the end of a floor, and so every time he got hit, he should have taken a falling test, which I believe we did take. But there's a move symbol next to him, so he must have moved. And we see the heavy here has been killed. Although the heavy did manage to take out the objective that he was next to, so it's fine. And here we have Mr. Twiceborn. He's moved up. I'm not sure if he's in combat or not. What's happened here is, this is the same Immortal that was up here on the bridge. I made a daring charge. I thought it was really cool, very cinematic. The narrative writes itself, guys. He just jumped down the full 5 inches or whatever it was. It was a charge. It was a charge. But he had to roll to see if he died, or took a mortal wound, and he didn't. And that left him in combat. He must have been contesting the objective, so I assume he kills this scout in one turn, which was very, very lucky. As you know, Necron's not known for their close combat abilities. This Immortal has jumped off the second floor, and I have no idea why. That's a confusing one, but he has. And we see my Zealot up here. He had charged, but then he's not... so he must have charged this guy? I'm not quite sure. A very, very similar picture of my comms Immortal. And we can see his leader in the background there. And in this shot, the idea was here we're focusing on the leader. Basically, they're dueling off in a battle of the snipers. Very thematic, I'm sure. It's like enemy at the gates between these two. Okay, next turn, this guy has moved up. Somehow, my warrior is now there. My comms has 2 flesh wounds on him. There wasn't a lot of dying in this game, as you can tell. A lot of flesh wounds, but not a lot of dying. Oh, okay. Yep, so he's obviously run up the wall, charged my Necron warrior, which is lovely. So somehow, this hasn't been destroyed yet. Presumably because I forgot to take a picture of it. However, my warrior had gotten here in time to contest the objective. And so these 4 are just duking it out. Because I believe at this point the victory points were equal. And this was the only objective he could get to in time that would, this was the deciding objective. So that was actually a very important combat. Yes, so this was the deciding objective. Because I was matching his manpower on the objective, neither of us owned the objective, we were contesting it, and because of that, even though he had the CP to spare, he could not use the tactic that would win him the game. I believe there was 1 victory point difference in our scores, and if he'd destroyed that, he would have gotten 2 victory points. He would have won. As it was, the Necrons won by a single victory point. I guess an overview of the game. Obviously the Necrons won, but it was very close actually. It was very much a dice roll or two away from being a Space Wolf win, which you could think, oh, well, that means it's a good game, right? I mean, that's what you want. You want a game to be close. However, considering how much of a crushing defeat the Necrons took in the first game, this was pretty... I mean, yeah, in the first game, there was no doubts. The Space Wolves won. It was never really... There was never a threat that the Necrons were going to win because they never managed to get through into the corridor where the last 2 objectives were. So, bit of a letdown. And also, I really felt as the defenders here, I think 4 out of 5 turns, all of my guys just readied. It was kind of... I'm not sure what the word is. It was boring for me as a player. It was 100% the correct move for the kill team that I bought. That's what they should have done. Obviously, if I'd taken all flayed ones, it would have been a very different game. I'd have had a lot of movement on my hands. But as it was, with the very cool and effective and durable immortals with Necron blasters, the enemy had to come to me, because I managed to deploy in a way that left everybody, covering objectives, and I won by readying every turn. So it wasn't the most exciting battle, sadly, which is a real shame to say, especially when I won. I wish it had been a bit more interactive, but I think this is one of the main downsides between the attacker and defender narrative games they have. When you pick certain teams. So for example, Necrons, or if you're doing a Tau gun line, you're not going to move. And that's kind of boring. Even if you win, it's kind of like, well, I won. But at what cost? At what cost? And that's about it, really. I don't think the Space Wolves really made a mistake at any point. Although he did change tactics halfway through, when I think he was trying to decide whether he would leave his... I mean, basically, he missed a turn of shooting with his leader, because obviously he moved. If he'd rethought that, maybe he'd have gotten a kill, and that would have let him get through and get another objective. And also the dice rolling at this point, if he had managed to get his scout to take that objective, he'd have won the game. But I think that was the 2nd or 3rd turn this was an issue. I rolled a 3 to hit instead of a 4, and that was it. Game 1. It's a game of dice, guys. It's a game of dice. And just a little note here. The veteran, twice born, I believe I put 3 flesh wounds on him, and I was getting so frustrated. I just couldn't kill him. I was dumping... I think... I dumped 1 or 2 of the warrior, the immortal, and 1 of the death marks. Put a solid 2 turns of shooting into him, and he just didn't care. Didn't care. With that said, I did eventually take him off the board after a long time. Then in the casualty rolls, sadly, he died. And don't get me wrong, I was so annoyed at this guy because he just wouldn't die. But I didn't want him to actually die. That was boring. That was anticlimactic. I was like, no, he should come back with a wound, and be like this cool guy that... Anyway, I have issues with the campaign in general. The campaign system, that's another video for you. But all in all, I think we both played pretty well, and it genuinely came down to a very clutch, objective-grabbing final turn. And basically, my immortal managed to not die, and I managed to get another warrior in place, and that was it. That was it. If it hadn't been for that, he'd have won it. Okay, I hope you've all enjoyed this rundown between the Necrons and the Space Wolves, and coming up in 2 days, I presume, on Wednesday, we are going to have the final part. Who's going to take it home? We've had 1 win for the Wolves. One close win for the Necrons. Well, I've got to say, the final game is definitely the best. Okay, I hope you've all had a great day. I hope you've enjoyed the battle report. I hope you're looking forward to the third part. Glass Half Dead, logging out.